Hey there, my hungry Cretonians. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Songs of Syx, Episode 8, Rising Demand for Vegetables. So once midsummer rolls around, my odd jobbers are just cutting down trees and fully clearing future farm spots to keep themselves busy. With the increase of population, one of them could become a baker again, because now we're feeding 50, not 40. There is a decent amount of open housing around the tailor as well. It's reading as unavailable leather. So something else I could do is, just to jumpstart the amount of leather we have, is let's go over to kill, and this is a little risky, to kill some oryx. Oryx have a very high likelihood of stomping you to death. So, what is very likely going to be required as a result of killing those oryx is to have to build a mass grave for someone that tried to kill an oryx and got stomped to death. Because oryx are a bit dangerous. But, you know, gotta have the clothing. Someone has to pay for it. Someone has to pay the iron price. And I don't think I ever set up this warehouse, right? So let's put the radius to something like 33 and set it up for meat and leather. And then clothing. Tailor and pasture wear. That's what it's going to be called. Yeah, I do have a warehouse that allows leather. But yeah, that might be why leather was unavailable. Did we do the hunting? Yeah. We're just harvesting a cadaver. I don't know if he was the one that killed it. I think because I think I noticed a cadaver. Oh no, I queued 4 up. Please, no one die. Our pasture's up to 10. People don't look like they would be vegetarian. Why? Because they look orc-like? They're like pigskins. I mean, yeah, they do look omnivorous from our standpoint of like pigs are omnivorous, but not in this game. And you can check the other. So, for instance, the Dondorians have a food preference of fish, bread, and mushrooms. The humans have a food preference of bread, meat, mushrooms, and eggs. Tilapia, meat, fruit, and eggs. What's funny is the top of the tilapia look like forest dryads. You'd expect them to like vegetables, but only the Cretonians like vegetables. Cantors like meat, fish, eggs. Haganash like meat, fish, and eggs as well. Omnivorous, same fish, fruit, so on and so forth. So everybody has their own diet and own religion, and the species are really different from one another, which is what I really like. And they don't follow like standard lore of like, oh, you know, the Dondorians are kind of like, you know, dwarves, so they only are going to want like cave mushrooms. Like the game doesn't do that, which I find kind of nice that they invented their own lore and preferences rather than to use. All right, so we're doing the foraging now. So it's time to furlough the carpenters. I'll bring it down to like a 2. I'll bring our tailors down to a 1 because they can't even find leather. Which it should be delivered soon from the hunt that we did. It just hasn't been delivered yet. Increase the delivery for... Oh, you know what? one of the other issues is the leather is out there, so I'm going to reduce cotton and increase leather and meat so that the deliveryman here can also fetch the leather and meat that's out in the fields from the hunt. So yeah, here we go. Here's all the odd jobbers that were furloughed getting the crops. Also, my happiness is not 100%. It's enough to admit new immigrants, but as you can see, it has been dropping just because the needs haven't really been met. Some of them might be potential food scarcity. I'm not really sure, but I'm also not really worried because we're about to get a mega orchard in a minute. Also, all of these clear land jobs need to get deleted because I don't want my odd jobbers doing that. We can cut trees down all year round. We cannot forage all year round, so I'm going to send them out to the fields to forage. I'm glad I noticed that because that could have been bad. Unless we're done foraging. No, there's still cotton left. And there's the entire vegetable field left. So yeah, there's plenty of forageables out there. Pasture is at 10. I'll increase the workforce by 1 there. Are leather in the markets and the like? Yes. That's actually where it's going. But we do have leather in this storage, so it's fine. But yeah, they started stocking the markets with the leather. This orchard is now 100% supplied with the apples, so I'm going to go, and I'm surprised I remembered, but I'm going to go back to Axis here and allow them to start eating apples. Now that I have enough apples to start the orchard, I don't need to reserve apples for any reason. It's going to be open for food consumption. And that is also true of the food stalls, so I'm going to go through the food stalls and allow apples as well. So once this is fully done, I'm going to have the ability to do a new priority. So let me type up some options here. What to build next? Additional fruit orchards, laboratories, laboratories. I'm trying to think. I could do a Globedian pasture. For eggs, if you wanted eggs. Yeah, we'll go with those 4. So laboratories is essentially toilets. And then laboratories would be research. I wouldn't really be able to hire too many researchers until the orchards were really truly running and supplying a lot of food. Because to truly ramp up, the amount of researchers you need to work in laboratories is quite a lot in order for it to be of any use at all. And that requires a lot of food security, which we, at the moment, don't really have. Is the... Oh no, there's still forage left to do. There we go. Thank you, odd jobbers. It's funny, the game, the people that have the odd job jobs feel like they're worthless. But oh my goodness, do I use them. So there's a lot of meat and leather out here in the fields. So the odd jobbers that are left, I'm going to hire like kind of an excessive amount of delivery people to collect the leather, to collect the meat, and Also, to collect fruit, because I know there's fruit out there, too. Just so that nothing's left out in the field. But here's our orchard construction. Very pleased by that. Just so that we don't have to look at the plans, I'm going to leave... I'm going to activate the roads that connect the two sides, but I'm going to remove the plans. Because they're kind of ugly. And it looks like I'm going to call this a little early. Toilets. Get some plumbing up in this. Sounds good to me. We have 27 furniture. I know laboratories require plumbing or furniture, so I'm gonna. Some of my odd jobbers are gonna be hired to carpenters. Looking good. Now it says that there's nothing left to fetch in the vicinity, indicating that the fields out here should be cleared. Yes. Okay, so they can be furloughed. All right, let's get laboratories going. Anywhere that you plan on, this is a kind of a funny warning. Anywhere you plan on zooming in on, often, if you like to look at village life, don't build laboratories near it, because you're going to have to listen to pooping. The laboratories make pooping noises. Just warning. I'm going to put my laboratory probably right here in the heart of the town center. And you're going to want it to have like one employee, but as many services as possible. So maybe I'll put it here or something. I'm trying to figure out exactly like how big max service would be. I don't want 2 employees. I probably don't need that many. So I think it's 10? No, 8. Okay, so it's going to be this big. And then we'll do wash basins like that. So it could even be smaller than this, I think. Let's remove this latrine. And I might move this around. So it looks like 5, so 8 large. 8 sized. So I could probably put it in this courtyard area, I think. But it wouldn't be rounded. So I'll leave it up here. There we go. 8 plus rinse basins. I'm trying to make the rinse basins as small as possible to still hit 100% efficiency. There we go. I like that design. That'll work. Done. And I'm going to want another set of this for the other area up top. So I'll just design this so that it can be copied and pasted. Current priority, build fruit orchards. Let's see, build laboratories. We're still working on the fruit orchard, but that's fine. I think I will keep the fruit farm going until the orchard starts yielding fruit, just so that we have some varied diet. It doesn't hurt to have this fruit farm just continue work for now, at least. All right, we're waiting on a little bit more furniture. So let's hire actually every odd jobber to be a carpenter for now, because I don't really have need for them to do odd jobs at the moment. I have plenty of wood, plenty of stone. I don't have builders though, actually. That would be a good odd job to have. There we go. We have 15 months of food. Pretty comfortable. Oh, and my fruit orchard's done. Okay, so fruit orchard workers, I'm gonna see if I can get away with like 8 of them instead of like 13 or whatever it said I needed. And that's where my odd jobbers went. I was wondering about that. They finished the orchard. Copy this area, and I'm going to paste it here and then change the layout of the roads. Actually, if I paste it here, I don't have to do much road changing. Okay. Lavatories. People might get caught in the back in these spots, or that spot, so I'm going to change the structure to be awninged rather than walled. Looking good. I would say so far it looks pretty organic in its layout. And here's a lavatory with a plumber. So the plumber just cleans the latrines and keeps them running, kind of like how the janitor does everything else. Speaking of janitor, how's our maintenance look? Spotless, more or less. There's barely any degradation, nothing to be concerned about. At some point as I add things to this northern section, I will need another janitor up here to match, but I don't think it's time for that just yet. Clothing. Our tailors make about a piece of clothing a day, but it immediately gets used in the markets, which is no surprise at all. The ranch is 11 of 19, and one of the last 2 odd jobbers is going to become a plumber once that's built. Everything's running pretty smooth. I may have, now that I have apples coming in, I'm going to reduce the amount of bakers because we are less reliant on bread and it's going to spoil instead. And now we have a decent amount of stockpiled furniture. Which means, I have the capacity to take on a new task. We have this second lavatory here. Good. Let's take a quick look at roundness and harmony. So roundness. I think my roundness heat map speaks for itself. People live in very aesthetically pleasing areas. There's plenty of roundness, and if I take a look at the environment here, my roundness is about 95%. close enough to full fulfillment that I'm not all that concerned. Cool. What about harmony? Environment. Harmony could be better. Let's try to make things look more harmonious then, shall we? While you guys vote on next project. So, the next project could be additional fruit orchards, lavatories, Globedian pasture, vegetable orchard or vegetable farm, additional grain farm, or other viewer suggestions. If you guys have any suggestions. So there you go. There's the poll. I'll put 5 minutes on that. And in those 5 minutes, I'm going to put some more beautiful trees in and around the colony so that it looks more harmonious. Because trees are cheap, right? They're just wood. Another thing I'm going to add, let me get rid of this overlay, is maybe down here, I'm going to put a hearth and a well. And the reason for that is farmers working all the way down here would have to travel a not insignificant distance to get to the nearest hearth or well. So it helps to have like strategically positioned hearths and wells to provide shelter from heat waves and cold snaps, and incorporating them throughout, keeping in mind, of course, that these facilities will require a janitor to maintain them. So you can't just put them in the middle of nowhere. So, for instance, if I want to start doing ore and coal mining, I'm going to need hearths, wells, and janitors throughout the entire spanning distance. Plus possibly, you know, lavatory here or there too. Right? So you have to consider, you know, the needs when you start building expansively. It does increase the infrastructure cost pretty dramatically, I think. Apparently I'm not tending enough. I'm going to increase my... Actually, let's see what the AI says I need. And if I don't have enough odd jobbers for it, so be it. I'll adjust accordingly. So I fired or furloughed some of my carpenters to become odd jobbers to build these trees, so that we have a more harmonious city. It's funny, like one of these large trees here gives you, I don't know, 8 wood, and it costs like 48 wood to put it back. To build a tree from raw wood. Sounds ridiculous. Okay, daily tending is a bit higher. If daily tending is too low, the animals start to die. So I was worried that I just didn't have enough animal tending to keep them alive. So in 59 days, the trees will start yielding. And then they'll be on a, like a yield cycle harvest. Yeah. Takes a while for an archer to be, you know, a return on investment. But once it does, it's awesome. Wow, look at that happiness. Lots of immigrants. 17 want to join. Because now we have laboratories and people are like, hey, you don't poop out in the woods? I want in. Sign me up. And I have to be like, no. We don't have room for you. If I admitted you, we would be pooping out in the woods still. Okay. Pretty clear that you guys want a vegetable farm next? So, next task is to build a vegetable farm. There's a little bit of complication there, is I have where the fruit and grain is going to be. I think vegetables the easiest way to do a vegetable farm is to place it over here. Likely. In this void, because this is going to be grain. So these can be vegetables. With that said, the worry that I have is that the little agrarian cul-de-sac won't be able to scale up enough. I won't have enough houses here. So I might want to consider knocking out one of these apartments early, so that this housing unit can continue up this way. But I also don't want it to be too far away from the market and the farm. And I mean the market and the food vendor. And the market and the food vendor is here. So maybe it makes sense to have an agrarian cul-de-sac over this way to have the fruit span up that way. Because the laboratory is here, the temples are here. I think that makes more sense. To start a second house section over here, mirroring more or less what it looks like over there. That way? Yeah, I like that better. Alright, where is my deep water? So, it's easiest to find deep water kind of in the winter, because where it's frozen is where it's shallow. Which means, like, this area could be good. If I dedicate this area to fruit, this area can become veggies. So I think I'm gonna like overdo it, just have a giant swath of vegetables just from the start, knowing that I won't have the vegetables to seed the whole thing. And for now, I'm going to suspend this job so that I can build the road network out that way. So I'm going to widen this road and have this road drop down here. So this is going to go all the way to that road. So north of this road is going to be vegetables, south of this road is going to be fruit. That's the theory. So if you can envision, it's not literally going to be this, but if you can envision, if I copy this area, it's going to be something like a cul-de-sac here to support the fruit, or to support both the fruit and the vegetables. So I'll have like a vegetable storage here, and there's no processing the vegetables. Unlike grain and fruit that can become beer and wine, vegetables are vegetables. It doesn't go through any more production chain. It is the end product. Why overextend this? I'm not actually building it this. This is just a layout of it. I'll probably cut this thing in half once I'm ready to put it down and unsuspend it. Actually, it should be suspended. I meant to keep it suspended. I just wanted to visualize where the fields would be. And the fields are just going to go out to the edge of the deep water. So, this is more of just like a planning tool. Okay. Got it. So maybe if I put my... So if we imagine the roads, this one, coming all the way out, and I'll add a little bit road to it, like that. This road coming all the way out, this road will lead to the vegetable warehouse. So I'll start by making a vegetable warehouse, because I don't really have any vegetables right now until next forage season to actually start a vegetable farm. So we'll do the warehouse first. I don't need it twice as big as the others, so let's make it smaller. Maybe I want it floating in the middle, because we're going to be passing through it, unlike the other ones that are silos that are designed a little bit more differently. There we go. Meaning that the vegetable areas will come out about there. So we'll make this look more circular, roundified, whatever you want to call it. That should do. All right, and I think my odd jobber is already making those roadways. Good. I might need more odd jobbers. I could probably just admit immigrants. I'm going to admit another 10. Food security is going to be less and less and less of an issue as this fruit orchard starts to yield. And also we're adding a new farm field, so it's going to be even less of an urgency. So then this road will come up, and it might make sense for this road to come all the way up to the woodcutter, so it's one continuous road. If that's the case, I'm going to move this farm a little bit, or this warehouse rather, so that I can have a double wide. And maybe I won't block the road and put it on the side like that, so that this road doesn't get interrupted at any point. There. So at the start, it's going to be mostly just like road infrastructure. And I'm not going to worry about this part of it just yet, as that's excessive. And then, but after late summer, when we actually have vegetables on hand, we'll be able to start sowing it. Which means, let's cut vegetables out of our diet for this year. Because there's a few vegetables in the fruit stalls, or fruit stalls that that could be allocated towards the first field. Where do we store veggies? In here? Okay, so I'm going to put a delivery person here to scoop up the veggies that I just dumped out of the food stalls, so that we can store them appropriately. Let's check on our harmony. I did just try to raise harmony. And these blue bars here are like things that are increasing. As you can also see the bar graphs. So like services, for instance, has gone up. Almost certainly as a result of having lavatory access. Yeah. Lavatories were solely responsible for the increase of that accessibility. But environment, harmony has gone up 10% or so. Roundness has gone up about 1%. I mean, I don't need to make this perfect, but it's good to know that it's trending in a good direction. This road system goes through a bunch of rocks, so we're going to have a lot of stone left over. So I just allocated... Oh, actually, we can remove... No, I don't want to remove fruit from this warehouse because we still forage for fruit, and I don't want a delivery person to have to go fetch it. But I changed a lot of livestock to move over to... And once we use up the meat and the leather from this warehouse... Actually, maybe I'll do it now. Remove the leather, remove the meat, and then put a delivery person here to go get that leather meat, because the leather meat belongs in this warehouse anyway. So I'll do that change now. Okay. Vegetable warehouse. Good. Only veggies. And I'm going to have delivery person go fetch the veggies from this warehouse that I just put them in. I know, crazy, right? To the vegetable warehouse where they are going to be forever. Or until we eat them. So let's start our first vegetable farm. That's going to start here. And I'm going to make it roughly 26 by 15. And I'm going to have roads that go all the way around it. And we have plenty of odd jobbers, so I'm not too worried about the workload getting done before forage season. And once we have every staple foraged and farmed, we can kind of stop foraging. You know, once I'm able to produce my own cotton, my own vegetables, my own fruit, my own grain, foraging becomes a lot more labor intensive because of all the walking and hauling involved. I just want to keep foraging until I grow everything myself. Thank you for tuning in to Songs of Syx, which originally streamed live on Twitch as a marathon November 23rd. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind I'm not looking for feedback. This episode was cut from a marathon, and the marathon was streamed one time only, so feedback cannot be incorporated. If you would like to join a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. And if you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. A link to my Patreon page could be found there as well, if that interests you. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream of another game. Farewell, my fellow Cretonians.